Hi guys, I'm Bushalifer here, back with our video, and for today I'll be doing a new part of What If Deku Was the Son of Hades. And yeah, luckily now I am a little bit feeling better, so that I can, do vids. So with all that, let's begin the story. We last left off when Izuku was at home with Hades and his mother, Persephone, if I remember. And they eventually went back to UA on the next morning, which Aizawa told about the USJ, or the unforeseen simulation joint. And they went to the USJ basically, and and when the topic of quirks arrived, and Izuku Midoriya gaining the question from Suyu that Midoriya, what's your quirk? Suyu asks Izuku, and Izuku just replies as in, "Oh, my quirk is very special. I call it. I really call it. I call it God's law." And Suyu just asks, "Why God's law?" Izuku explains that, "Do you know that in the law, you are permitted to be judged in court, right?" So he just says, "Yeah. Why?" "Well, my quirk is just like that. I have three forms: the judge, the jury, and the executioner. The judge being the one who decides the verdict, the jury that helps with the judge to decide the verdict, and finally the executioner, whose main objective is to, as I said, kill. So, that's what my quirk is. If you might be wondering, Suyu." Aizawa just chimes in and basically said, "Shut up!" And everybody shuts up. And Izuku just says, "Sorry, Mr. Aizawa." And yeah, and the Server Sisters, when Suyu asks the Server Sisters what their quirks are, basically they just said that. Sorry about that. Basically they say that their quirks, they're kind of special. It's to the point that our quirks basically make us one entity. We are technically one entity, to be honest, but we all have different personalities. As our quirk is one. It is called Cerberus. We fuse into, the Hellhound of Hell, or the guard dog of Hell, you could say. In which Suyu just says that, "Oh, that's very interesting. So basically, like your what like from one of those mythologies, the Greek mythology, right?" We- the Cerberus sisters just says, "Yeah, that's basically it." So yeah. So after that, they eventually went to the USJ, and they met 13, and obviously no All Mights. Izuku felt something off about the USJ, so he activates the ability, or should I say, his eyes can see life force or the sins of people. And when he looks at the USJ, he can see signatures of people's sins, and asked Aizawa, "Aizawa sensei, uh, let me ask you a question." Aizawa just says, "Yeah, problem child." Izuku just says that, the thing is, the USJ has people in it." Aizawa was a little bit confused, and says that, "Problem child, what do you mean? We're the only ones that know this place, except for the staff of UA and the students." Izuku just, "Yeah, I know that, but what I see inside is a lot of signatures. and my eyes don't tell me wrong. I can see their sins. One of them committed burglary, one committed attempt of murder, and one actually did murder, and so on. So it's kind of odd. So Aizawa was a little bit worried. So Izuku, he just says to Izuku that, okay, problem child, I think you have a good feeling for this. We're gonna back off from the USJ, but all the students are gonna back off. Me and 13, sorry about that. Me and 13 are going to go in the USJ and check the surroundings. And if the coast is clear, we're going back to the USJ, okay? Izuku just says, alright, alright. So, Aizawa and 13 went to the USJ without the students and explains that there is something fishy going on. And the UA students believed, or Class 1A believed, the pro heroes. But the Cerberus sisters knew that it was Izuku who knew that. The reason of why they were, acting a little bit wary in the situation. So they eventually went in. And what can be heard is because Izuku didn't left the USJ. He is outside the USJ, yes, but he didn't left. But the other students left the USJ. So it was him and the Cerberus sisters. So when they heard screaming and everything else, and you all might be wondering, should the USJ be, soundproof? Yes, it should be soundproof, but remember that their communications wasn't working when Kaminari used his quirks. So, and by defense, I think it would be possible, and I mean really possible, for a person, I think, to, I don't know, infiltrate the sound system of the USJ and so on, because of Kaminari that can't get a signal or jamming quirk. So let's just say jamming the soundproof electricity, I guess you could say, technology, soundproof technology. I don't know, this is the future. But yeah, so when Izuku heard the scream, Izuku bolted in, and I mean bolted in. He doesn't waste time to, I'm gonna wait. No. He really busts down the door and basically say, I am here. And Izuku, seeing Aizawa in a, puddle and stuff of his own blood, kinda gory, but still. Izuku really, let's just say that, he first summons, Judgment, or should I say Kale, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Judgment. Sorry about that. Sorry. But yeah, he summons Judgment. Sorry about that again. There was a motorcycle run by my house. Sorry. Sorry for the dogs outside as well. But yeah, he uses Judgment and basically using Kale and tries to heal Aizawa, which luckily worked. And Aizawa just asks, Problem Child, what are you here? Izuku explains that Aizawa sensei, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine, and so on. Basically, like a police, like saying that everything's gonna be fine, don't worry, we can handle this, and so on. Like, yeah. So after he healed Aizawa, he began being surrounded by villains and all. So Izuku was being surrounded by villains. What he did next was, let's just say, a fight-or-flight response. And he transformed into Kindred. Or you could say, it's called, for him, it's the jury. So, he transforms into that. And Izuku says to Wolf, Wolf, let's have some fun. And Wolf smiles a grin. Izuku having his bow and shooting down these villains one after another, Wolf biting down on them, and Izuku fighting them. All in all, he took about 100 villains using Kindred, or should I say, the jury. And until Shigaraki notices this, and you all might be wondering why didn't the League of Villains just back off? Because they saw the pro heroes and no students. So yeah. So what happened next is that Kurogiri was in charge by Shigaraki, and Shigaraki just says to Kurogiri that, Kurogiri, bring out the Nomu, kill that kid, pointing to Izuku, and Kurogiri just says, yes, master. And after that, the freaking, should I say, the Nomu is, let's just say, a little bit special. And when Izuku tries to damage the Nomu, it doesn't do crap, and it doesn't hurt it, because even though Wolf is chomping, and Izuku using his what was it called again, his bow, he couldn't defeat it. Like it has something in it, which Izuku was odd about, and something clicked into his mind and says, ah, shit. And Izuku, in his mind, he remembers that deity blood, or should I say God's blood, is a little bit more different than, human blood. Because, first of all, it's gold. It's actual gold. I took that from the movie Gods of Egypt. It was actually a good movie, by the way. It's a good movie. For me at least. But yeah, and a lot of the blood, and he was wondering because of it has a lot of these marks around it, like it ain't hieroglyphs, because of reason being it's a lot more different than hieroglyphs. And yeah, which he asked Hades, or he asked his dad once about these creatures, you could say, or yeah, creatures that can do, and I mean do anything, you could say, which Hades explains about everything, that these creatures are mostly, remember, the automatons. They don't have emotion, they don't have anything, they only have is a brain, two, let's just say, or a computer, you could say, or runes that can and will, sorry about that for the background, and will take orders from the creator, over the creators from the creators, let's just say, given ownership, or yeah, or when the owner, or when the creator gives ownership to another person, the Nomu or this creature will listen to it. Sorry for the background, really, man. Sorry. So yeah, Izuku having this thought, and he said, "Ah, damn," and he saw the marks as well, and they were runes. They were, yeah, runes, and there was, because of him being, because of him being, the nephew of Hephaestus, he actually wanted to be, wanted to see Hephaestus at work. So one day when Izuku was still, in Olympus, or in the heavens, he was, sorry, so he was watching Hephaestus, and it was a, let's just say, a play date and stuff. And Hephaestus, which I'm going to make a girl in this one, Hephaestus just asked Izuku, saying, Izuku, what are you doing? And Izuku just says, I'm just curious of how you how you give weapons this amount of power and stuff. Even though you're the goddess, of the forge, it's 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 very interesting for me to really, you know, on this on see Hephaestus, and Hephaestus just gives us a basis to say thanks, Izuku. I'm really grateful, and yeah, which Hephaestus just says, how about this? You, how about you help me with, go going, help me forge. Izuku has stars in his eyes in this moment and says, "Okay." And he was young in this young, very very young in this point, very very young, and he learned how to the runes, everything about the runes, the forging and stuff, and that you can make amalgamations, you could say amalgamations of I guess flesh, you could say, or a flesh golem, which Nomu is considered to Izuku as a flesh golem. Which, if you don't know what a flesh golem is, just imagine Frankenstein. That's a flesh golem, I think. Yeah, I think basically it's a amalgamation of different parts of a person, or of flesh, or flesh of a human, and like for example a person's arm and another person's arm, leg, I don't know, chest, belly, abs, and so on, face and head, and legs, feet, and everything else. And it was very very interesting to Izuku, which he was learning this. So he took a little bit of classes from Hephaestus and stuff, which it actually paid off for Izuku. By the way, it actually paid off. It for him now. Now he knows what to use against fighting against these creatures called that have runes and stuff, which yeah, that's how he knows about every of how the Nomu is created, because he saw the runes and stuff, which he was a little bit puzzled and remembered that Kronos was trying to kill him. So put one and two together, that's your answer. So what happens next is that Izuku says, "Oh, come on," and transforms into the executioner, and or should I say Cain or Rost. And he just says, "Rise, my subordinates," and you could say somewhat of a ritual was a ritual circle or a pentagram. Yeah, more of a ritual circle, not the triangle with the star with the circle. No. It's more of a ritual circle, like you're summoning in the animes, like in the isekai anime, if you're being summoned just like that. And yeah, but Izuku summons Aatrox again, and Aatrox just says, "Yes, my lord." And Izuku just says, "Can you occupy that creature?" you could say. And Aatrox just says, "Yes, my lord." And Aatrox runs off to the Nomu. And the thing is, there is the Nomu has runes that mummify pain, damage, basically, and anything that's shock based, damage based, or bleeding, and so on. It's more OP than the normal Nomu, by the way. Because of the addition of runes, it's more overpowered. Which Izuku just uses the judge, or as I said, Kale, and flies off to his dad. But before he could fly off, he grabs Aizawa and 13, which luckily 13 was not injured, you could say, but on the verge of being injured because of 13 get 13 and Kurogiri fight, and not as much as in the canon, like about about a 2/3 decrease of damage on 13. So yeah, which he dropped them off in the UA infirmary, which when he was going to go out, recovery girl was there and basically says, Sonny, where do you think you're going? Izuka just says, to my dad. Which, first of all, they don't know that Izuku is a deity or a god, or you could say demigod, but he ain't a god just yet. And they don't. The people of the immature world don't know that Izuku's dad is Hades and Persephone, parents basically. Hades and Persephone. Their aliases called Inko and Hisashi. So that's where I came up with that. And yeah. So Izuku flies off to his house and basically said to his dad, Dad, I need help. Which he says, what is it, son? And he just explains. Izuku explains about the situation about the USJ, and let's just say Hades was pissed, and I mean pissed. Like you done bad things, pissed, and he about to kill someone, pissed. Basically like that. Sorry for the voice that I used. I'm very sorry, but Persephone heard this and basically was furious, and I mean very very furious because if you know a parent or a mother that will do anything for their kid, hands down they're the best mother. No joke. If you saw a mother defending his child and disciplining them with the most right way without the whoop ass, the cans or the whoop ass, like a talk that are very very heartful, you could see a parent that's actually that good, because you could see how they raise their children and how they how they face problems and stuff. So when Persephone heard this, and she just says, well, release the cans of the whoop ass. And by the way, Persephone is not, let's say, overprotective. Yeah, she is overprotective about Izuku, because Izuku has died before in her arms. So I don't have any other thing to say, because if somebody dies on your arms and they live again, you must protect them. You must protect them. But if you're a mother, then you saw your son die and stuff, the mother would instantly. And I mean, if there's a chance, and I mean if there's a chance that the son can live again, she will take it. She will take it. Let me just say that. Okay, so, and with that out of the way, sorry for going on for a tangent, but yeah, Izuku basically said Izuku needed help, so he asked Hades, and Persephone jumps in as well, says that no, I am going with this. They hurt my child, so, and they went to the USJ, and he just say that the aftermath wasn't great. The villains haven't left yet, luckily, and it wasn't that long to say, because Izuku flies fast. If he's in a hurry, he will fly like Sonic the Hedgehog or like Lightspeed. I know I'm exaggerating a bit, but yeah, basically like the pump of adrenaline in his veins basically made him more powerful. So they flew back to the USJ, and they released the cans of the whoop ass. And Persephone says to Izuku, "No, you're not gonna come with us. You're just gonna stay here." Excuse me, Mister. You have to stay here. I don't want to see you get hurt. Izuku, please. Mom, it's my job. Come on, please. I want to be a hero, please. Let me be a hero that I am, please, Mom. Which eventually Persephone budged, and you know the thing. They released the Cannons of Opus, and I don't know what's the last name. No, no, no. What should? Oh yeah, by the way, comment down below the last name that you wanna give Izuku, Hades, and Persephone, because if I remember correctly, they don't have last names, so it's kind of hard to imagine last names. So basically, the family, the family Whoopass, the family Whoopass special, and let's just say the villain, and luckily Aatrox was heavily wounded because of fighting this Nomu, and this OPS of a Nomu, and basically said, "I love sub," basically saying that, and basically Aatrox is heavily injured, so he saw Izuku and says, "My lord, I'm sorry I cannot defend anymore." Izuku just says, "It's fine, Aatrox, thank you," and he just disappears, and Izuku just desummons him. Which what happens next is that Izuku transforms into Kane, and he unlocked a special ability. And I'm gonna take this one from my what if Deku was reached by a Hephaestus what if, and I'm gonna give this Izuku the ability to split his two forms of the, let's just say, the executioner. So he splits, and I mean splits. So there are three of them, and there is Kane and there's Rust. And luckily, the both of them aren't fighting, and they're not fighty buddy. Taking that from Sojiro, and Izuku only has a scythe, which he raises it up to the high as he can and slams it down. And what happens next is that the power of darkness with blue and the power of darkness with red combines with Izuku and transforms him into, you guessed it, a fusion of both Kane and Ross, or the light and the dark side of, I was going to say of the moon, but both of the sides of the executioner. So when they release the cans of the Whoopass, you're not fighting 3, you're fighting 5 people in a familia. And let's just say that Izuku's familia is a powerhouse, which with one final blow, Izuku Hasashi, or you could say Hades, Inko, or you could say Persephone, where, let's just say, and the double Kane and Ross did the final blow on the Nomu and killed it, which Izuku carves out, and I mean carves out the runes and gives it to his dad and say, "Dad, can you give this to Auntie Hephaestus, please?" Which Hades just said, "Sure, son." And why do you want this to be examined by Hephaestus? Izuku just says that, "Well, Dad, Hephaestus is more of the rune, the rune expert, so." And it's really odd to see runes on a being, so I want you to ask her to examine these runes if they're legit and stuff, as well as who are the other people that can do runes except for me and Hephaestus, because this is really interesting, because it's really, and I mean really interesting to see this on a flesh golem, you could say. And I mean, yeah, it is really annoying to see this. But Dad, please do me this favor, please, and ask Auntie Hephaestus, and if you could, please invite her to our house. I want to speak with Auntie Hephaestus again, because it's really been long, and I really want to speak with her again and talk about what has happened, because she is one of my favorite aunts that are basically like mom, that are really really caring and really, and I mean really really fun. So please, Dad, please. Which before the pro heroes could arrive, they bolted out, and Izuku was held by Hades and Persephone, which they they disappeared, and there was no trace, and you can just see villains and Nomu dead, the dead Nomu, and Kurogiri and Shigaraki has left them behind when Aatrox appeared. So what do you expect? There is no what's it called again? There's no loyal against thieves, if I remember, or there's no one with the thieves. I forgot the quote, but still. And when they arrive home, Persephone start patting Izuku, checking, which you might be wondering, where are the Cerberus sisters? Well, Izuku knocked them out. No, no, not really. But the Cerberus sisters were following Izuku, to say, because reason being, the Cerberus sisters were more likely feeling the danger, so that Izuku was going to go through, and Izuku mentally said to them, which I didn't say this in the part, but I'm gonna say it now. Izuku said to the girls that don't butt in, just go to the use to go back to the UA and tell me everything that happened, which luckily, and I mean luckily, the Cerberus sisters listened, and eventually school came out, and the Cerberus sisters were heading home. And when they arrived at the door, they see Izuku and Persephone and Hades. Persephone patting down Izuku, checking for wounds and stuff, which luckily there weren't, and the Cerberus sister just jumped Izuku, and basically said they were so worried about him and so on. And eventually Izuku just says, "I'm very sorry for this, girls, for not letting you do it and stuff, because I don't want you to get hurt, please, because I really like you girls." And they all blush and hug Izuku, which eventually says, "Oh, I'm vanished. Let's go eat." Which, yeah, they go eat. Take a bath, and then sleep. Which, that's where I'm gonna be leaving it off. Sorry guys if it's a little bit short and a little bit fast, and the story is out of whack. I'm really sorry. I forgot most of the parts because I am a little bit. I just recovered, and my brain is a little bit still hazy and stuff because of my head. When I was sick, I got a headache. So yeah, I'm really sorry guys for the long wait for this series, and like I always say, like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys later. Bye.